Hey there! Thanks for trying out the welcome version of this game. By playing this demo, you can get a sense of what the retail version of Tomodachi Life Living the Dream is like. And players who complete the demo will receive a hamster costume. Costume color cannot be selected, costume also available in the retail version. We hope you will enjoy the full demo. By the way, any progress you make in the demo version can be carried over to the retail version along with your save data. Hello everybody! My name is Jelly, welcome back to the jam, and we are checking out the Tomodachi Life Living the Dream demo. I have already done this demo multiple times! So, this is not my first time. But there is something that I wanted to go over along with this demo. And that something will be revealed very soon. So, you found a tiny island in the middle of the sea. What will you do with the place and its residents? Alright, so this is our little island. Yes, I'm playing at nighttime, if you couldn't tell by the nearly midnight time that I am playing this at. Oh, there aren't any residents. Well, we could do something about that. Let's invite some folks to live here. Aha! It's just the place for Mii characters. We'll call them Miis for short. They can look like real people, even people you know, and you get to create them. Not sure what sort of Miis to create? There are no rules! You can add any Miis that you dream up. As you add Miis, you can watch them live out their lives. They'll chat and play and even argue. It's like an alternate reality. What if you sprinkled in a fictional character or a celebrity, a best friend, or someone you admire? Let your imagination fly. Got a few ideas already? Well, hang on to them for just a moment while we give the island a name. You can change this later if you want. Alright. So, context in case this is in the video, this island is going to be all food themed. So, I'm just gonna call it the garden because most things are gonna start out as plants. Well, hold on, I can think of something a little more creative. How do you cuisine? How to spell? Shoot. Oh, C-U-I. 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 Ah, there it is. I figured it out, guys. I totally didn't have to go to Google and start typing in the word to figure out what the heck it is I'm trying to say. Totally didn't.
Cuisine Island.
Cuisine Island, yes. Also, apologies really fast if the color in the video recording seems a little off. I don't know what it is with this capture card in my Switch 2. I got a new TV and that has made the colors be strange. I will try to fix it in post. If I'm unable to fix it in post, have fun with the bright, weird colors. I don't know what to do about it. Cuisine Island. Whoa, cool name. This island will develop as you add residents. Having 6 or more residents will help the Miis live happy, fun lives. You can add up to 3 residents in the demo version of the game. Are you ready? Got a Mii in mind? Let's invite your very first resident to Cuisine Island. Alright, now we're getting into the meat and potatoes of this game. And the whole point of this video. So yes, that whole island bit, that's whatever. I'm not gonna do a full playthrough of the demo in this because if you want to see a full playthrough of the demo, well, there's been a lot of creators doing that on YouTube, so just go find one and pick one. I am going to go into a deep dive of the Mii Maker though. So as that little pop-up showed, you can use the touchscreen, and that is honestly the best way to navigate the Mii Maker. It's way better with touchscreen, so that way you're not having to drag your cursor around. And we'll just skip through all this demo stuff. Because it is a demo after all, and if you have a Switch, you can download this for free. Now I'm gonna ignore most of the general creator stuff because, I mean, there's a lot! There is a lot! So obviously we have all the different face shapes. We have this wonderful amount of skin tones and whatnot. But as I'm going through this, I'm probably going to make myself disappear. So, me talking to you, I'm gonna go poof. Found my thing, I'm gonna go poof. Alright, so now you guys can see the full screen and all of these wonderful options. So we've got our face shape, various different, all the fun stuff, right? I'm gonna keep things pretty simple though. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna make a simple cat character. So I'm gonna make the face kind of short. I'm gonna pick a color for our fur. See, this is the thing with this game, right? Like, there's a lot of colors, but then there's not a lot of colors at the same time. So we'll just go with that. Okay, so that's for our faces. There are 49 rows. 49 times 5 of the hair of the sets. Also a lot. Now for this guy, I'm just gonna pick some fluffy stuff to kind of keep it out of the face, so that way when I go and, because we're gonna focus on the face paint. That's part of what we're doing. So I'm just gonna pick some stuff. Oh, that's a good back. That's a good fluffy back. Okay, and then I want this about the same color. Yeah, that should work. We'll add a subcolor. And we'll make it darker. Turn the subcolor on this one as well to get some nice stripe action going for demonstration purposes. I am gonna include eyebrows. We'll go with these ones. I'll make them thinner, raise them up, and we'll try to keep everything around the same. Okay, now the eyes. Once again, I want to show some stuff off with the eyes, so I'm gonna pick some larger ones. Now these are really cool, and you can like, oopsies. You can move them, or tilt them, which I wouldn't recommend doing too much. It depends. You can make them bigger and smaller. I haven't seen a lot of people really messing with these guys as much though. But you can move them around, which I think is pretty cool. So if you wanted those more to the side, that you could. Sure, we'll go ahead and add that. Alright. For nose, I think I'll go with that nose. I think that'll make a good cat nose, while still having it poke out a bit. One more little tip for mouths and stuff. I guess with these guys, you can turn the lips off. I did not know this. You can just go through and you can turn them all off. And I thought that was very interesting. Did not realize you could do that. I think I saw someone on Reddit point that out, and I thought that was really interesting. I wish I could remember who that I could properly credit. But I'm just gonna go through real quick and kind of show off. Honestly, I might use that one for a little feline character. That's just a little bit cursed. So then there's those ones, and then obviously we have the new mouths, so like that guy and all these other ones. But now that I'm aware of this, oh yeah. Alright, And then we got the ears. I'm not gonna add ears to the cat because we're gonna paint those on. I'm gonna ignore the glasses, ignore that stuff. And we're gonna go dive right in to the face paint using this as our base Mii. Alrighty, first thing you're gonna do with this whole thing is just get rid of the tutorial. Just go away. Just go away. Shoo! Scram! And then the next thing that we're going to do is we're gonna switch to Pro mode. And it's gonna give us more tutorial tips on how to use Pro mode, but don't worry. I'm gonna show everyone how to do that once it's done yelling at me. Okay, it's done screaming at me. So, face paint. The big thing. Obviously, switch to Pro mode, just do it. If you have used any art program ever on anything, including MS Paint or that one that we all used in elementary school that the kids nowadays aren't familiar with, back when computer labs were a regular thing in schools, switch to Pro mode. It'll make your life easier. But navigation on this takes a little bit to get used to. It does, but it's not that bad. X is gonna bring you up to this little bar, so you just press it once and then your cursor automatically snaps to the row of buttons up here. Press X again on any of these and it opens up the settings. Then you can hit B to back out of it. Y will bring you over to the colors, and then you can press Y again to open up that color swatch. The swatch only stays those colors for the length of time that you were in this page. So it doesn't save the swatches, at least for the demo. Well, actually, here real quick, let me talk to you real fast. Little disclaimer. Everything I go over is demo specific. We don't know what the actual game is going to be like. We don't know if this demo version is going to be exactly what the game release is going to be. So take whatever I have to say in this video with a grain of salt. All of this will apply to the demo version, but we don't know if it'll apply to the final retail version of the game yet. Things might change, just be aware of that. Alright, back to navigating this stuff, and then I'll probably pop back when I actually start drawing. Okay, yeah, so with this Y, so with the color swatches and all that, over here, now obviously I picked the same color for both, but you've got a nice little reference of, oh, if you want the hair or the skin tone, you can boom, pick that instead of having to finagle with this. Wonderful. We got all the colors. All the colors you could dream of. Every single one of them. Which is really neat. So, and obviously you can draw. L undos, R redos. Those are your bumper buttons on your controller. Left stick, if you click it in, you enter a focus mode. So if I press any other button beside, I mean, you can undo and redo, but I can't press like X and Y. I can A, and I can undo, but that enters like a focus mode, and then you just click your left stick in to get out of that. Right stick up and down will zoom you in and out. Same for this little guy over here where you're actually viewing the Mii, and then you can reset that camera. And then really fast. Really fast. In the settings, we've got this top bar up here. Now that description isn't super clear of what the buttons do. But that's if you hold down ZL and ZR, so your triggers at the same time. So right now it's got the eyedropper tool selected, so I'm holding down the triggers, and I can eyedrop, and then I release and I go back to whatever tool I was currently holding beforehand. Really fast. What do you think this one does? Got your guesses? Let me show you what it actually does. And let me pick a different color. So, say you're drawing with your controller, as one does, and you're trying to do some details, right? And it's a little hard without zooming in, but you want to be zoomed out because you want to see what the full thing looks like. And you're just trying to do details. Behold. Magnifying glass. Yeah. I didn't know that that's what that was. It took me messing around in the settings when I was writing down a list of everything that I needed to talk about in this video before realizing, oh, that's just a magnifying glass. Holy crap. That's really helpful, and I wish I knew about that sooner. But that's basics, super basics. Now I'm just really quickly gonna go over some of this stuff. So I'm just gonna I'll just draw a spiral just for, oops, I don't like that. Yes, I'm using a controller. I'm just gonna draw a spiral really quickly just to sort of demonstrate what all of these buttons do. So the first tool here is our move tool. So what you can do is you can select your thing and you can move it around. Next tool is going to be your select tool. So what you can do is you can just click it once and it'll select that line. You can also select just a portion of it and just move that around. Left and right bumper will rotate. It does some weird pixely stuff with rotating, so just be aware of that. You'll probably have to clean up whatever line it is when you're moving stuff around. Right stick up and down will zoom it, make it bigger. And then left trigger will flip it. Right trigger is gonna make it a little tricky to see what it's doing, but basically it's moving it in front of and behind what wasn't selected. Minus will delete it. And then if I select that again, plus will duplicate it. So then you can just duplicate that as many times as you want. But that's basically the selection tool. B will cancel out anything that you do. So say I selected this and then I went, oh, actually I didn't want to move it, or you selected just a part of it and you were like, whoopsies, didn't want to do that. You can just hit B and it'll cancel it out. What this is helpful for is in tandem with the settings, there is a grid. So you can select this grid and you have a nice little line that goes through that. So if I just delete this really quickly and select this, what you can do is you can do face stuff, face markings. So say I wanted some stripes. Maybe I wanted an ear. That was a bad ear. Let me try it again. Another bad ear. Oh my goodness. That one was okay. I should be using a different color. So we got some markings going on. Right? So we got some markings. And depending on what hairstyle you have, this will cover it up or not. Okay, so we've got some markings and now we can select. Unfortunately, our little zooming trick only works on some things, and now, whoopsies, I didn't select all of it. I'm gonna start from the bottom. There we go. So now we have that selected. Press the plus to duplicate. You can line this back up to the level before you flip it. And then I'm just using the D-pad and just holding that until it gets to the position that I want it in. And then I think that's where we want it. So then that's symmetrical with everything else going on in here. Really quickly, I am going to... Actually, I'm going to use this fun feature where you can just erase all and it clears everything. Really quickly, I am going to make an actual drawing of sorts with my little cat. So pause as I do a little doodling. I'll come back, actually, since we're... No. So, I'll draw a little cat face features, and then we'll come back and I'll go over some of the other stuff. Alrighty, at this point I'm going to, these three options right here, the text, stamp, and shape, they're pretty straightforward. You just, text, you've got 3 different fonts, italic and bold. Stamps, you've got all of these various preset stamps that'll be a lot more useful for other creations and whatnot. And you got different things, you know. This will save that stamp for this specific item that you're working on. So in this case, this specific instance of face paint is what that will save as. So that's probably another way that you can duplicate it without having to do the selection. But we're not going to worry about that right now. I don't want the stamp. And then for shapes, various, if you want it filled and then outlined, and then you got those shapes. The bucket tool, you've got the solid as the default. This is transparency. So if I were to select this and that, it basically just bulks deletes things, which I think is pretty neat. And you saw me flip this open really briefly earlier. This is our stuff. So this will draw straight lines when you're doing it. This smooths out your line. You got outline options. This basically snaps it to stuff you've already drawn. Lock transparency is alpha lock. And then you've got different things. It's basically like an overlay and a multiply layer, I think. I was doing some playing around with these and they're kind of hard for me to just compare to a blend mode layer. Layered is basically just transparency. And you got all these different things. This is kind of like an airbrush. So I'm going to try to use it here. It's tricky to see here, but it does it better over here. So here, let me erase this. Try again. Like, it's just strange. I don't know how it works fully. I just know that it does work. It just looks strange to me. Maybe that's it. Eraser has similar things where it's got straight line, smooth, and then the outline feature. This is basically just more pixelated. I was gonna do this a little more like, ooh, yeah, this is how things work. Now the airbrush gets really weird when you're going over other stuff. I don't know why. I wish I could tell you. So it's kind of finicky in some areas. And just be aware of that. Now color strike again. Alright. I think I am going to be at this from now on. So we got some more. This is just a show off what we can do. Okay. one quick little thing. Say you're making a character that has some eyeliner. Now you can trace around this. That was real bad. I'm gonna use a bright color real fast just to sort of demonstrate. And this is another thing I wanted to point out. Because we are drawing on a flat plane that is meant to be close enough. Oh my god, if I could draw it, that would be fantastic. But this is a flat plane that's meant to be on a curved texture UV sort of thing. Or that's the wrong way of explaining it, but it's close enough. So basically this might not line up perfectly. Like... Oh, it's gonna move the whole thing. I don't want to move the whole thing. I just want to move this. So... See, I can line this up as much as I want to, and you can see how that top bit is below the projection of the face, but when you're looking at the preview, it is peeking up above it. So that right there is kind of what I mean by it's close, but it's not quite, right? Like you can line this up perfectly with the projection, right? So I'm trying to get that as close as I can, and you can see the dark bit of it peeking through at the top. Basically what you gotta do is you just gotta get this close. It's not gonna be perfect, right? But what you can do for characters that have like makeup and stuff is you can fill in behind the eye. So if you're doing some crazy makeup, right? That way when they blink, you're not seeing the skin color when the Mii blinks. That's basically the whole why I was doing that. Anyways, we've got this, we've got our guy. Now we want to duplicate that over. And this also shows off that the nose cannot be painted. So just keep that in mind whenever you're doing nose stuff. So you would have to paint that yourself, get rid of the nose and just make your own nose. You can use the D-pad to sort of precisely position that. We're gonna select it. We're going to duplicate it. We're going to get it lined up. Flip it. Move it over. I messed up. But that's okay. I think there. It's tricky to tell. I think that's the level that it needs to be at. I think that should be good. And you can zoom in, make sure it all lines up good, and then you can undo it if you need to. But I think that's all good. Now we've got our cat character. I know I went very monochrome with this, but that's alright. Okay. So eyedropper is pretty self-explanatory, it just picks the color. I'm gonna make myself go away now that I'm going over buttons again. Reset camera, I kind of looked at. Zoom in and out. This guy right here. You can illuminate it, make it glow. You can adjust how much it glows. And then all of the things that you're drawing are on one layer, and that layer is either behind the eyes or on top. So you can see how the mouth bit is moving on top of the mouth versus behind it. That applies to the eyebrows and the eyes as well. But for this guy, I'm going to keep everything behind. And one last little thing are all of these effect guys. So we've got color eyes, which basically allows you to change the hue. We've got vividness, so you can make it brighter or duller, so that basically is your saturation. Brightness, so how bright it is versus how dark it is. Contrast, so how much light and dark contrast each other. And then we've got blur. Blur is an interesting one. What you could do is you could draw like the shading and get nice gradient effects before you go in and do, say, detail work. So if I would have drawn over the whole face and then added that little bit of airbrushing on the nose, that would turn out pretty neat, and that would be a smoother gradient than what the airbrush tool offers. Then we've got mosaic, so you can change how pixely it is. I think this is an interesting one. I don't know how anyone would use it. It gets pretty funny pretty fast, but that is an option. Then you've got outline, which will outline your little bits. So if you wanted everything to be outlined. And you can go back and forth between like clicking on one of these modes and then going back to drawing. I have done that. Then you got black and white, so you can change sort of where it decides the black and white is going to be. Sepia, similar thing, just without the slider. Dreamy is an interesting one. Comic, similar thing, where it just decides where it draws the line between the black and the white. And then Game Boy style. Again, I used monochrome, so it's kind of tricky to tell where everything is. But you can back out of that if you don't want to actually mess with anything. But those are some neat tools. I think the blur one is probably the most useful. But once you're done, you're done. So now we've got our cat fellow. We got our guy. Look at that. Now really quickly, kind of along with the face paint, I recommend using either of these the top ones, because they stay behind the face paint, so that way you can kind of keep an eye on what you're doing before you go switching up what you're doing. So say if I wanted the fuzz in front of the ears or the stripes and sort of engulfing those ears into the guy, then I can pick one of these more fluffy, more 3D bang options. Right? So these ones cover up the face paint more. So like this one, kind of where the ears are clipping in, and then you can go back to the face paint to sort of alter it, so you can see the bottom of the ears is kind of peeking through this one, but this one kind of looks like a neat one to have. But that's just something to keep in mind, where you can draw it first, pick your bangs, and then go back and tweak it afterwards. There's a lot of different hairstyles in this game. I think I'm gonna go with this one. I kind of like how this one looks on this character. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. But that basically is face paint and how the face painting works. There's a lot of different stuff you can do with it. I know I kind of jumped around a little bit more than I meant to. I think I covered everything I meant to, though. So if you guys have any tips or tricks for the face painting, leave them down below in the comments. If you have any speculations on what is going to be changing between this this demo version and the retail version, let me know. I'm continuing to experiment with this demo. I'm probably gonna make some more videos up until the release. I know I've kind of fallen behind my posting once a month this year. This one's cutting it pretty dang close, but I got a video in at the end of March, guys. Barely. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and like I said, I'm gonna be posting a lot more tips on the demo and things that I've noticed. I've been uploading some as I find them videos on TikTok, so if you want to see them like as I'm discovering them and not in this more organized format, then check out my TikTok. But I've been avoiding posting on TikTok just because I don't like how they've been handling certain things. I've been trying to focus on YouTube, but man, stuff gets crazy. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you all in the next video. Bye-bye!